Welcome back to the fourth and last vulnerable machine of the penetration testing gauntlet. December 13, 2025, live on Twitch. And now we're gonna hack a vulnerable Vulnhub machine called ICA1, which is a pretty easy box to hack, except for the privilege escalation part, which we'll have to discuss. But visit vulnhub.com, have your Kali machine installed, virtual machine installed, and look for ICA. It was either I, capital I, or 1, don't remember. Nope, I guess it was capital I. Just look for it on Google. There it is. It's ICA:1. Download it from the mirror. Download it to your desktop, for example. And there you have it on the desktop. Then export it. Extract everything to the desktop. Extract. There it is. You'll find the OPA. When you find the OPA extension, you'll just have to import it in either VirtualBox or in VMware. There it is. Click on File, Import Appliance, and find it. There you go. Click on Finish, agree. It's importing the appliance. Go to Settings, go to System. I think 1 GB is enough. Let's do 2. Processor, video memory, a little bit more. Couple more CPUs. Local machines are always better than remote ones. They're much more stable. Yeah, when it comes to Linux machines, go with Vulnhub. It's always better. But for Windows machines, Hack the Box is better even if they're not very stable most of the times. Especially the older legacy ones. As we've seen with Grandpa, such a pain in the ass. And then on network, set it to bridge adapter so that they'll be able to communicate. Click on OK, and then start it. I would like a server just to get hacked by this alpha geek. So it doesn't tell us what the IP address is. No, it just told us. It's 1.8, so that we won't have to find out what it is, but I'll show you how to find it anyways for times where you're not able to see this. Go on call, start it, and then you can use this tool which is called NetDiscover, which discovers all of the devices. Now be careful, if you're in a company settings, don't launch this, because without proper options set, it's gonna scan something like 60,000 devices. And a student of mine, which is a system administrator, which is actually an entrepreneur, launched NetDiscover, and basically phones started ringing with people asking him why nothing was working. It's very NetDiscover is very heavy-handed, so be careful with this. So the it's 113. Well, it doesn't matter. Do sudo netdiscover, and then use -r to specify what the subnet is. To specify which subnet you want to scan. And then it's 168, 113, or 1, doesn't matter. But /24. Which means 255 hosts, because if you don't do this, it's gonna do /16, which is 65,000 hosts. There you go. Now, Vulnhub machines are always the PCS System Technic GmbH1, so it's 1.8. We confirmed that it's indeed 1.8. And now I was live and the OBS connection actually dropped because I launched NetDiscover. It completely dropped. I have to remember to never launch this when I'm live. Yes, I am indeed magnanimous. See? Do you know what happened? I launched NetDiscover. This is, yeah, Dobby, this is just how heavy-handed NetDiscover is. It dropped my connection entirely. NetDiscover is really a brute. It's very, very heavy-handed. Be careful when using NetDiscover, or even using Nmap to do a ping sweep of the entire subnetwork. I think Nmap isn't as bad as this, but it can be, depending on the options that you give it. So it's 1.8. It's my aura. It's not the Discover, it's my aura. Yeah, could be. So let's get this foothold, shall we? So the nmap -o sc sv t5 1.8. We said it was 1.8. Now this is gonna be very fast because it's in the very same local network. It's local. It's gonna be very fast. And there it is. We found SSH, port 80, and port 3306, which is MySQL. They're all open. It's of course a Linux machine, but we already knew this. SSH open, great. Stable shell. Version is, it's up to date, so it's not gonna be vulnerable. MySQL, we might be able to actually connect to MySQL remotely. And we have something that's probably interesting on port 80, which is QDPM with a login. So first off, let's try visiting port 80. And it says, welcome to QDPM. And it's so courteous that it also tells us what version we have. So we can look for QDPM default credentials on one hand, and on the other, we can look for QDPM vulnerabilities. Password exposure, unauthenticated. And it says the password and connection string for the database are stored in a YAML file. To access this file, you can go to HTTP website core config databases. So website core config databases, core config databases.yaml. So without even trying if we can get in, let's try this thing first. And it's downloaded a file. It's in downloads. We're gonna close up all this mess from earlier. This might be useful later on. Let's keep it open. The downloads, CD downloads. Databases. Doctrine database. QDP admin. URL code. I guess this is the password. Yeah, guess so. Yeah, well, let's clean this up. This looks like it's the database. These are the database credentials to connect to the QDPM database. The username is QDPadmin. Let's move this databases YAML to the desktop. QDPM admin. That's right. Let's try connecting to SSH with qdpm admin. Yes. Let's try that password. Doesn't look like that's it. Yeah, let's try with MySQL. MySQL u qdp admin. Are you sure? qdpm. Looks like it. P. Now, this is MySQL. You cannot have a space between the P of password and the start of the password. They need to be attached or it will not work. Host 18. Let's see if it works. TLS SSL error. Self-signed certificate in certificate chain. Now this is easy to solve. If you go to man MySQL, you can skip SSL. Now this is by default. SSL --SSL enables SSL for connection, which is automatically enabled with other flags, but you can disable it with --skip -SSL. So no issue there. You go, so we execute the same command as before, press up and then skip SSL. And there you go. We've accessed the MySQL server with the correct password. And now some commands. This damn smile is acting like a brute force in my heart. Is it? Dabbe. 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 Okay. Show databases. No, there are several. We could use the MySQL database. Use MySQL and select user. I don't remember. Desk. No, show tables. Desk user. What columns do we have there? Was it password or authentication string? Select user and authentication string. Select user authentication string from user. And yeah, this, but I don't know. We could save all of this. I mean, these are not valid passwords. I guess this is, no, this is, yeah, this could be another valid password. But as we'll see, there are other passwords that are easy to crack. So let's keep exploring. Show databases. Let's use qdpm instead. Show tables. What is there? Users, desk users. And in the table users, we have ID, email, password. Might be interesting. So select ID, name, email, password from users. Oh, it's an empty set. Select everything from users. Still an empty set, no dice. Okay, show databases. No, wait. Show tables. Users, there's nothing there. There's also staff. Use staff. Show tables. Department, login, and user. Desk, login. Desk, department. Nothing there. Desk, user. So it's either in user or in login. Select from login. Select from user. I guess this is 1-to-1. So yeah, we save all of this. We copy the selection. To DPM users. Maybe it's better to do a couple of files because this is base 64. This is very easy to decode, as we'll see in a moment. Now a little trick with Vim: do delete D, F for find, and then pipe, and then do dot to repeat the last action, then J to go down a line, and then again dot, dot, down, dot, dot, down, right? Vim is fast. I made an entire course with Vim. It's part of the InfoSec Bundle. Link is in the description. Now V, select all of this, double quote, plus Y. QDPM, I think that it's the same name. Let's call it users. Users. I, Ctrl-Shift-P. There you go. You can delete this with D capital G. X, 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 X. Then let's call this file, let's rename it to QDPM, users to passwords, TC. Okay, passwords. Okay, users. There you go. Now we only have to decode the passwords. Now we have to decode the base 64 strings and put them in a file. Now I found this script on the internet with bash because, you know, I'm lazy. So that we can decode them in a couple of lines, all of them. Wizard. The wizard of Vim. So while read line do echo line base 64 decode pass decoded echo space and line. Done. Let's hope to God this works. Passwords. I just forgot. So fucking stupid. Yeah, bash can be a pain in the ass sometimes. While read line semicolon do echo line base 64 decode pass decoded. So it basically will read from the passwords file, which we'll define at the end of the while loop. all of the strings one by one by using while read line, right? And it will print it to the standard output, then decode it with base64-D. And then to not confuse ourselves any further, we just insert space and line at the end after each iteration. Pass decoded, and with the redirection operator we print it again in a file. Then with done we close the script and we read everything. Was it password or passwords? I don't remember the name. Yeah, Bash remembers it for us. Use tab to autocomplete. Right, and now if we type in cat pass decoded, we'll have the decoded passwords. So we go in pass decoded, space online. There was no space there, so you know what we can do? We can just do this. But let me remove pass decoded first. So let's do it again. Okay, now cat pass decoded, and now there's a space and a line. Okay, we can pass decoded, and now let's remove all this. And then we can also in pass decoded, we can cat pass decoded. We also can put it in users. So now by accessing users, we have both of them, right? So we have Smith, Lucas, Travis, Dexter, and Mayer. So we got our user pass combos right here. Good. But if you remember from earlier, we also have a list of passwords in from, right? We have all of these other ones. I mean, the only usable one, I guess it's the root password. Can copy this and then root hash. We can save it here. Right, we can try to identify what type of hash we have with hash ID m root hash, and it says that it's unknown. We also try hacking it with hashcat m30080, which is a brute force type of attack with the user share word list with the Rocky one. No such file directory because we haven't unzipped it yet. Yeah, gunzip, gunzip, Rocky, sudo, gunzip, Rocky. Yeah, now it's been unzipped. Try again, and it says token length exception. No hash is loaded. But at this point, I think it would be a better idea to do a brute force attack against the SSH service with Hydra. We might go in this rabbit hole and try to identify what hash we have. But on second thought, I think we can remove all of this. Instead of users. I think we're gonna remove users. Pass decoded. Yeah. Gonna remove this too. Pass decoded. Let's just call it pass. Well, pass decoded. Pass.txt. I also removed the users. Well, oh well. Well, with Vim, it really doesn't matter. df pipe dot u to undo dot 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 dot. Now we're gonna try Hydra with it, and since Linux is case sensitive, it's a good idea to do this too. Set them to lowercase. Now Hydra will try each one of these. We'll try, for example, Smith first. We'll try Smith first and all of these passwords. Then it'll try Lucas and all of these passwords. And it will do everything automatically. RIP users, yeah, but we were fast, weren't we? Right? Cat pass, cat user. There you go. Okay, so let's launch Hydra with the users and the passwords against SSH, the SSH service on the remote host 1.8. What? Wait a minute. There you go. You know what issue this is? There's a space at the end. It also reads a space. The asshole. Gotta be careful with this. Wow. This will come with experience. Try again. There you go. It's found Dexter. One target successfully completed, one valid password found. We found the correct password for Dexter, which is this one. Now let's save this copy selection. SSH pass. Copy this. It's Dexter. Double colon plus double Y. SSH Dexter at 1.8. There you go. And we got our foothold in the machine. Users doesn't matter, but passwords do. Passwords, yeah. Spaces in passwords are problematic. Now, sudo -l to see what the Dexter user can do. Password for Dexter. User Dexter might not run sudo on Debian. So, you cannot do this either. Whoops. We can do su root and insert the password to see if it's the same, but it's really not. We might try all of the other ones that we found earlier, and could have been a good idea, but it's not gonna work. Now we'll have to talk about special permissions on Linux. SUID, SGID, and the sticky bit. In this video, we're gonna focus on the set user ID. If you remember the read, write, and execute permissions, right? R, W, and X. We also have another one called S. There are three groups, right? User, group, and other. Like you see here, 1, 2, and 3. When we have an S instead of an R, W, or X, it's called set user ID, SUID, SGID for the group ID, and the sticky bit for other. A file with the S, the SUID is always executed as the user to which the file belongs to. So basically, if you find a file that belongs to root and you are able to execute that as root, even if you aren't root and the permissions are not configured correctly, you might be able to perform privilege escalation. Now, just keep this in mind. SUID has not got to be set for any scripts except for system level binaries and programs. So never set the SUID for anything unless your Linux fucking Torvalds, okay? To complete the privilege escalation part on this machine. Now there's a way to find SUID scripts and files with find type. It's a file with the permission 4000 and all the errors go to dev null in the Linux black hole. Now dash before the 4000 is an AND operator and the slash is an OR operator, so it's not minus or divided. Maybe we'll go deeper with this later on. We'll have to do another video about this. So that's the reason why I'm calling this video Introduction to Special Permissions and not Special Permissions in depth or something. And it'll find OPT get access. The other ones, as you can see, are system level binaries. So we travel to the OPT directory and we see that it belongs to root and there's an S with read, right? Only the read part. Now, if we do get access, help, it says ICA, access to the system. All services are disabled. Accessing to the system. Access to the system is allowed only within working hours. Now, this is obviously something that's been done by the person that's created it, considering also the mistakes. Let's try executing it. Well, nothing changes basically. Let's try to see what it is. With file get access. It's an ELF. It's an executable. It's a binary. Okay. So this isn't helpful. Let's try reading only the strings that are in the file. As you can see here, it's one of the commands that it executes. It's root system.info. It says permission denied for us because we're not root. And now the classic old switcheroo. Now, what can we do with this? We see that there's a cat, the program cat, being executed by root. So now we can do the classic old switcheroo. We can add an environment, a Linux environment variable of a fake cat command. We already done this in another video, maybe on my other channel, but we'll see this again and again. Let's go to the tmp directory. Where's bash? It's user bin bash. So now let's echo user bin bash in a file that we call cat here, right? Cat, right? Confusing, isn't it? Now, this is cat in the current directory. And this is system-wide cat. Let's make it executable. This is the Linux path environment variable. By using the export command, we can add the tmp folder that contains the cat command that we just created and make it so that when we execute the get access binary with the SUID set, it's gonna both execute the system-wide cat command and the cat command that we've just defined. How we do this? With export path, because that's how you define variables in Linux. And then we had the TMP directory to it, and we also reinsert the entire contents of the environment variable, and we do echo path again, and we see that also the TMP directory has been included. So when we say cat, it also launch another shell. So now when you launch get access, you'll get a root shell. And so we also performed the privilege escalation on the ICA 1 machine, and thus ends the penetration testing gauntlet of December 13, 2025. Now you cannot use cat because it's gonna get into another shell each time you do that, unless you do export. No, you can't do that. No, you can do that easily. Echo. Yeah, you should do something like this. Export. Yeah. Yeah, that's better. Now you can go root cat root txt, and there you have it. You also have the root flag. Now if you don't want to do that last step, instead of using cat you can use tag, which is really the same, but you know, tag basically prints the contents of a file in reverse, which is quite funny. Now I didn't see that, but there's also the note. Seems to me that there is a weakness while accessing the system. Yeah, because you set the set UID on a script, you doofus. I need to find out if there is a vulnerability or not. Well, we found it for you. And now it's not Dexter, it should be Travis. That's got the user flag. Secret project. Good. Now do this from the start. Start from the top and hack it yourself. This was quite fun. Lots of stuff we learned in this penetration testing gauntlet. Now all of these videos will become available on YouTube. There are 4 videos, and I think I'll extract something like 80 shorts out of these. Now I want to remind you that I'm on Twitch. Now you'll find the link to my Discord server on YouTube, or if you type in !Discord, you'll find the invite to the server, and in the general channel you'll be notified anytime I go live. If you want to watch this live, if you want to watch what I do live and interact with me and talk, yeah, thanks Dobby. Thanks Nomura. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I guess I'll see you again in the next penetration testing gauntlet or other Twitch live streams. So thanks for watching. Keep on hacking. Hack the planet. And see you very, very soon. Adriano signing out. Ciao.